any better?
No.
You could just be sitting here all night.
It's fine.
It's going better? No. Better? No.
Better? Worse?
Better one? Better two?
The guys on the stream aren't hearing an echo, I believe. So...
It's going to be
It's...
us here in Skype.
It's my mixer is putting it...
oh yeah, that's what it is.
It's putting your voice back into my output.
Yeah.
But normally, Skype somehow cancels it out.
But it doesn't feel like doing.
No, it doesn't seem like it does feel like it at all.
See Microsoft off. It's fine.
Ah, shit, man, you've sussed it. Exactly what it is. And then soon we have to sign up for Xbox Live to be able to use
You guys work, right?
Yeah. Can people in the stream hear us alright? Can you deal with the echo? Is it like...
One of my friends was saying that we're sound louder.
Yeah, I couldn't understand that at all. The echo, I guess just because you guys are a lot closer, so she doesn't, it doesn't take a second for voice to come back.
It's because I'm causing the echo that I don't get it at all.
Yeah.
If I try this for a moment.
Oh, okay. Oh, I can't hear myself.
No, you can really hear yourself?
No, I can't.
You can't?
At all.
No.
But there's loads of background noise. Can you hear loads of background noise?
Yeah, there's I don't know.
Yeah, just like a high pitch buzz.
Yeah.
It's probably just the fan from your massive computer.
The US fans. No, it's the cables.
Yeah, sounds perfect.
Yeah,
it would have done for a minute, but I couldn't hear you then.
Oh.
If I switch it to that sound card, it goes all funny.
That sounds good.
Is there an echo?
No.
No?
Fine, yeah.
That sounds perfect.
Skype fixed itself. No,
completely random.
Let's go back. All I did was switch to my other sound card and then back again.
Okay. And now you know.
Yeah, if that ever happens again.
Which is everything.
Right.
Turning things off and on again, that's the secret to make anything work.
Especially if Microsoft owns it, right? So
yeah, even more so, man. You'll start getting little blue boxes coming up on Skype saying, no!
Send them a tweet here.
Yeah, do that, man. That's a good idea. I'm going to do the same.
Wow, that's not the link. There's a random link.
Yeah, don't link people to random places. That's not so cool. No, I can't spell Justin TV. /Ironhammers. And Coot, I appreciate your honourable words about the volume of my computer. That's cool. Right. Now I have to hope if I play the theme tune that everything doesn't go all weird again. I think we're ready to go. So if you guys are ready,
yep.
We'll get this started. I will, as Scott would already know because he's done this before, start recording a few seconds of silence so I can remove the background noise later on, and then you'll hear the music start playing, and then you'll hear me start talking, and then we'll be go.
Awesome.
Which will make sense. Yeah, your graphics card, Coot, is just ridiculous. As everybody's heard the story before, well, some of them have. Coot brought his computer around to my house, and it was sitting in the corner, and I thought somebody had just turned the washing machine on. But no, it was just Coot's computer.
Wow. I know mine sounds like a jet engine. If I let it do its overclock thing during like brink or something, it just sounds like it's taken off.
Hello, Pyro Lily.
There she is.
She's right there. Right, we're about to go then. Let's get this started. Please don't let me down, Skype. Right. Hello everybody, and welcome to episode number 43 of Ironhammers Live, your now once again weekly PC gaming podcast being broadcast live every single Tuesday now at 11 PM right here on justin.tv/Ironhammers, our very own new Justin TV channel, and I hope that all works out well for everybody. They've done a lot for gaming and the StarCraft community, so we decided we were going to make the switch over to there, and it's just better than Ustream in general, so it's all cool. As you may already be aware, my name is Bobby Goodin, also known throughout the online realm as Ironhammers, and joining me today we have two special guests. The first being all the way over in the US of A. Some of you will know him too, Mr. Rabid Scotsman, real name being Scott McGregor. If I didn't deafen you with that music, do you hear me, buddy?
Yeah.
How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. How are you?
Yeah, man, I'm doing very good, and I'm pleased to be doing some more podcasting again. It's been quite a while.
Yeah. Good to be back on the ring at the show.
Indeed, man. Can't wait to start doing it every week once again. And Tuesday won't put my Sundays out either, so it's even better. I can sit on my ass all day on a Sunday. All good. So, we better be on our best behaviour today, Scott, because we've got a young lady joining us this week. Some of you may have seen her on the website. She joined us a little while ago. I'm not sure about the exact dates. As a writer on Ironhammers, she's done a few nice articles, so a big thank you for all her work so far. It's Tina Beans, Tina Lauer, do you hear me?
Yep, I do indeed. Hi.
I do, and how are you today?
Oh, not so bad, not so bad. What about yourself?
I'm very good indeed. How's not so sunny Ireland? Or is it sunny lately? I'm not sure.
No, unfortunately not. We can't wait for sun here.
Yeah, we've had it quite good down here. Just an extreme wind. But, no rain. But I hear Ireland's had a little bit of that just lately.
Just a bit, just a bit.
Just a bit. I'm sure you're used to it by now.
Aye, exactly. We're used to what our weather's like here.
Anyway, enough about the weather report. We're going to get into talking about some PC gaming. We've got some pretty good stuff lined up this week. Hopefully a nice new, more compact format that will hopefully make the show a little bit easier on everybody's ears, and they won't be listening for 2.5 hours of us rambling on about a load of stuff that they've probably already read elsewhere on the internet anyway. And a new theme tune that you just heard right there, which is by, I believe it's pronounced Tune Robot. It's spelled kind of like in Leet speak, and it's 2NRO808. So I believe it's Tune Robot. Makes sense, considering it's a chiptune. The track is called Look Back. Go check out your songs because they're absolutely awesome, as you just heard. So we'll get moving straight into our first section, which is where we used to do our news section, but we're going to put a little bit of a twist on it now, compact it a little bit as I just said. So let's do that. Alright, so the new news roundtable, as I'm going to call it, which is rather than me picking out a massive list of news stories and we just kind of read out the headlines and discuss them briefly, we're going to each pick our own news story, which we have done already, and we're going to discuss it a little bit, and like I say, it'll be a little bit easier for everyone to listen to rather than a load of, and hopefully a lot more interesting as well. So I'll take the first one, and my news story of this week is that Frozen Synapse, or Frozen Synapse as some will pronounce it, has finally got a release date. I think it's been in development for about 15,000 years now, and it's finally got a release date, which is Thursday, which is in 2 days' time, on the 26th of May, and it will be releasing as a digital download on their website as well as on Steam. And if you buy it as a digital download on the website, you also get a Steam code, so you can register your copy on Steam too, which is all pretty cool. Any of you guys familiar with this game?
Silent.
I'll take that as a no. I'll take that as a no.
I'm not actually. No, at first I kind of felt bad, but now she hasn't heard of it either, so I'm not.
Yeah.
Well, I'll take this opportunity to tell you all about it. And what it is, it's hard to kind of explain what. Well, I wouldn't be able to put it into a genre, really. It's like a turn-based strategy type game. If you can imagine, say, a kind of little squad of Marines, like 4-man Marine squad, going into a building and clearing out terrorists or something like that. That would be kind of the basis of it, but it's like an overhead view, and the graphical style of it is very simplified, and it's all like basic colours and basic lines and stuff, like no 3D graphics or anything. And it's kind of like as if you were looking at a HUD. Imagine you were a commander kind of watching a screen of like GPS tracking this squad moving into the room to try and clear it out or whatever. And
like the map on Alien Form, or
yeah, a little bit like that, man. It's all kind of like neon colours and all kind of bright blues and different things like that. And basically, you get there's loads of different like classes of characters that you have in your squad. Like there'll be like a guy who's a sniper and the usual stuff. You know, one guy will have a machine gun, one guy will have a submachine gun for close combat, and you have to kind of line up your turn. So you will say, I want the sniper to go here, and then I want the submachine gunner to go to this position on the map, and all the time you can see the enemy, like where the enemy players are, but you obviously don't know where they're going to move to when they take their turn, because you pick up your turn and then you press play and it plays out the turn and then it kind of sees what happens. But it is a really great and really so simple but so complex at the same time. And Tina there, very kind of you, posted up a little link in the chat room for the website. Excellent job.
On the ball.
Yeah, someone needed it.
So, it's so hard to explain it, but it goes into such detail. Like you can move your sniper to this position and then ask him to turn to the right 90 degrees, and then to crouch behind something, and then to stand up after 2 seconds, and then to take another 2 steps to the right. Or then you can tell the submachine gunner to move to here, but if he sees anybody, just to ignore them and just run. And say if the sniper saw the submachine gunner, it takes a little while for the sniper to be able to fire a shot off. So if he was to stop and to try and fire back at the sniper may shoot him, but if he just runs straight past, he'll get away scot-free.
Actually really interested now.
It's, it's really great. And if you were to head over to the website, people who are in the chat room there, you'll be able to understand a little bit more of what I'm talking about just by looking at the single screenshot. It'll probably be like, oh, that's what he means.
It sounds like Fallout Tactics chess.
It's similar in a way, I guess, man. But you can pick it up so quickly and play it like straight away without worrying too much. There's a good tutorial in there, but you can get so in depth with it as well, and you can like spend an hour working out your turn and press play. But the great thing about it is you can play like single player, multiplayer, but you can play like 20, 30 games at the same time if you wish.
Nice.
So you can play like a.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you can play your turn. Say I was playing against you two guys. I could play a turn on the game against Scott, and then Scott may be asleep, which wouldn't be surprising. So I'd be, instead of hanging around and waiting for Scott to play his turn and see what happens, I could then make my move against Tina, and maybe Tina might respond straight away. But by the time she's responded, Scott's arisen from his bed and seen that I've played a turn. And he's played his turn, so then I can see what's happening there. And you can just play as many games as you want. There's like no limit as far as I'm aware of how many games.
So it's Fallout Tactics chess a la Words with Friends?
Yeah, that is very similar. Words with Friends is like the perfect explanation of how it works. Like, that is how the turn-based system works. Apart from your turn doesn't actually play out until both people have played the turn. And then you go back and you watch out how it unfolds. And I'd highly recommend it. I think the price is like $24.99 or something, if I'm not mistaken. Which seems a lot for what it is. When you just look at the screenshots and stuff, when there's no, everyone's looking for the shiny 3D graphics and everything, which aren't there. But I would definitely recommend you take a look at it. And I believe they're still giving away a free copy if you buy. They are?
Yeah, they are, yeah. It just says it, just near the bottom of the page there. Yeah, I was just looking at that.
Yeah, if you buy a copy, you get a extra Steam key or an extra download copy for a friend as well. So you can always play with somebody. If you haven't got anyone else that owns it, you can just buy a copy and give it to someone else. Or I'm sure there'll be many people messaging up their friends on Steam saying, hey, do you want to go halves on this? And we'll get it for a bit cheaper. So then it works out like a much better deal, But it's a really great game, and I played it like way over a year ago in very early beta stage. It just came out of alpha, and it was excellent then. I haven't played it since then, but I can only imagine it's going to be even more amazing. Like, they would have balanced it out a lot more. Like, there were a few little niggles in the early beta stages where it felt like if certain classes came up against a certain class, like the other class would always win, which seemed a little bit unbalanced at times. But I'm sure they would have fixed all that stuff now, because they have literally been, I think it's about 4 years in development or something, which is amazing. So highly recommend it. We'll move on to the next story. Scott, take it away. What have you got for us this week?
Yeah, the Razer Onda has been released. It's a tournament controller. It's basically a 360 controller made by Razer that you can use on your PC. I don't know, there's a lot of undertones to a release like this. It's partly a very good thing, because it's as if people are beginning to realize that PC gaming isn't dead, I guess, because they're handing over something that's a little bit more tournament worthy that we can use.
Sure, but you could also look at that the other way, as in Razer are going, hang on a minute, maybe we should make a controller for the consoles.
Yeah.
He obviously works with the 360 too.
Yeah. So I'm not sure if I'm happy about it or if I'm not. I mean, it looks really cool. It does. It has a lot of neat extra features. It actually has a couple extra buttons. The D-pad is actually good.
Yeah, the D-pad looks great, man. And if you buy the higher model, it's got light-up buttons, which is always cool.
Yeah, it's all backlit, which is pretty neat.
That is pretty
so, I haven't decided if it's like a stab at the PC gaming community.
Yeah, I know.
Or if it's like a shout out to the PC gaming community. I haven't really decided yet. But they do have all the regular neat Razer features, like the braided wire.
Yeah, which is cool, and the hyper response buttons as well, the same as what they have in their mice.
Yeah.
So I mean, I can imagine a product coming from Razer is going to be, I mean, it's going to be an awesome controller, man. I can't imagine that it will be bad in any way at all. But I'm not sure how much different it is over just a normal 360 controller, which I have sitting here already, you know.
Yeah, there is that new 360 controller as well that has the improved D-pad and things like that there already, so, like, how relevant is it really, do you know?
Yeah, have either of you guys just used one of those yet? The new 360 ones?
I've screwed around with one, but I haven't actually, like, played a game with it, so yeah. The D-pad does feel a little better, though.
It does?
Yeah. I don't know how long it'll last.
Well, I can imagine the Razer one will last pretty long. But I imagine if you start looking at the new 360 controller, the price difference between that and the Razer one is probably not that much different.
Probably. So, I mean, if you're going to buy one new, if you've been looking at buying one, you may as well go with the Razer, I guess.
Oh, of course.
Plus, you're not giving Microsoft more money, so I guess that's
I was about
right.
to say that exact same thing, man.
It's just a drop in the bucket, I'm sure, at this point, but...
I'd give crack off my money any day over
It is a time for Razer to put that out, you know, since that Xbox One's just new, you know, it's almost as if that was totally planned, you know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, and oftentimes they do turn out to be that way.
Yeah, and it's strange you say that, because I know they were showing the Razer one off at E3 last year, which I mean was almost a year ago now.
Yeah.
But for some reason or another, they held off releasing it until just recently.
Coincidence? I think not.
Yeah, maybe not. Anyway, check that one out over at Razer. I believe RazerZone.com is their website. If you want to pick one of those up, I think they're around £35. I may be mistaken there. That's completely off the top of my head.
Yeah, I think it's 25 American.
$25.
£39.99.
$39.99.
Which is actually just the same as the Xbox controller, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe it is for the new one. It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Then you can pick up the Xbox for Windows controller for like £15 on Amazon, I think. Which is, I mean, it's more than double the price. But it's Razer and it has backlit buttons. It's all cool. We just saw before we started there how Humperdinck was talking about buying a £70 mouse. So it's the same thing, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I would have a complete cheek to talk about Razer. I mean, I'm typing on a Razer ProType keyboard, and I mourn the loss of a Razer Broomslang mouse. So,
is the ProType one of the mechanical ones?
It's the one that the iPod fits directly into, and it has lovely little macro keys on the side, and it's very, very pretty and very, very large.
Flash! I just broke my last keyboard. It started doing strange things. The backspace button now types. It still deletes the character, but then it puts a hashtag in its place. I don't know what the hell's going on there.
It's Twitter friendly.
It's like too Twitter friendly. That's the problem. So I've gone back to this Keysonic gaming keyboard that they very kindly sent me to review a while back, and it was kind of just sitting around in a box because I was using my other one. But now I'm using this. It's not that bad. It's just a compact keyboard, and the keys are in different places, and it's a little bit awkward at times. But it's all good. Anyway, moving on to the next story. Tina, what have you brought to the table?
Well, I want to tell you just a wee bit about Magica, because they've been very, very busy chappies recently.
They have, very busy indeed. Yeah.
They've been doing a billion things. It's great. So this week they've decided to roll out a new dev diary, which is talking all about their new PvP mode. PvP was never something that was, you know, very structured in the game, let's just say. It was more like have a quick pop at your mates while their backs were turned. But they're now making structured arenas.
PvE with the accidental PvP.
Oh, accidental PvP, huh?
Oh, always accidental.
I like it. Yeah, so they're releasing a new PvP mode which should get people excited. And they're also being very, very good lads and lasses, and are doing their bit to raise some money for Japan, which is absolutely awesome. They are releasing some new DLC, which is Japan themed, and that is called Nippon DLC, and that is going to cost 99p or 99 cents or whatever, and all that proceeds is going to go straight to Japan, and it is some rather groovy looking gear, so yeah, I'm sure any Magica fan will absolutely just adore it.
I'm sure
And
anybody that plays
1919.
Roundup will pick that up without even thinking twice about it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just really can't complain. But the PvP mode, is there any much more details on that come out of that dev diary, or anything?
Are there balance changes, or?
Well, they're working on that. That was actually one of their quotes talks directly about balance. It's just kind of saying that, you know, they noticed that spamming ice shards and arcane lightning and all the rest was just a very good tactic, and that they tested that and that was confirmed, and tested again, it was confirmed even further, so, arcane ice shards over and over was the easy way to win, but they're going to try to fix that. They're having a wee think about that. So it's good that they're addressing that, you know. It keeps PvP fun, you know. If there's a wee bit of balance. If there's no balance, people just rage, and that's just no fun for anyone.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for anybody.
I have to say, there's too many games out there that haven't learned from some of the newer models, which is to keep their PvE and their PvP mechanics separate and just change each one as they're needed.
I mean, Blizzard need to learn that lesson so bad.
Yes,
Oh man.
they really do. They've taken so many people off.
Yeah, seriously. I know quite a few of my PvP friends just don't play anymore. That's
Yeah.
how they've gone.
Yeah. Well, and I guess Guild Wars would be a good example, whereas they'll have the same skill, but once you enter a PvP zone, it'll say the name of the skill, then have like PvP in parentheses next to it, so you know that it's changed.
Yeah.
You kind of change accordingly. So
it rebalances it when you enter the PvP.
yeah,
That's a good idea, man.
Pretty sweet.
And even looking at like something like StarCraft, even though it's not the same at all, really.
well, balance-wise, it's got to be a perfect example, because it's unplugged. It took them 12 years, right? So.
Indeed, but when you look at like the single-player campaign and then the multiplayer, like how they've actually like completely removed units from the single-player campaign for the sake of balance and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like you don't get the medics and stuff.
Fire bats and...
Exactly, man. And then they've replaced them with like other things or same things from the campaign in cases as well. And with that, they've managed to keep the multiplayer extremely balanced, as everybody already knows.
Yeah.
And even managed to throw in a few little extras for the single player campaign from StarCraft 1, such as the medics, which is all cool.
Yeah.
And that was just my way of getting out of having to try and pretend I knew anything about MMOs.
See you run in the StarCraft there, see how much you can fit in.
Yeah, I can...
We'll keep a tally of how many times you say StarCraft.
There'll be quite a few, I can imagine. There will be one or two. As anybody who's listened to the podcast before will be well aware. But I think that wraps it up for our new news roundtable feature. I hope everybody listening found that a little bit more interesting than just me reading off a list of news stories. I certainly found it more interesting, and it certainly is a good way to bring what different people find interesting into the show, which was great. So now we're going to leave you very, very shortly for a quick break. We're going to play you a tune. We will be keeping the same kind of idea here, where we'll play you a quick remix of a video game song from a video game of past times, not necessarily a PC game. And we ask you guys in the chat room, just for fun, to try and guess what game it's from. Seeing as it's a remix, it can get a little bit tricky at times. And other times it's just so obvious that everyone's screaming it out within seconds. So, we'll play you that, and you guys in Skype are going to have to listen to when the song ends when we return, unfortunately. I don't have the wonders of Jason sitting right beside me so I can say, hey man, we're now about to start. But yeah, I'm sure you can manage that just well. And when we come back, we'll talk about what we've been playing, which includes Brink, The Witcher 2, and a little gem called Tiny Bang Story. Tina can't wait to get Witcher 2 off her chest. We'll see you very, very shortly. Hello everybody, welcome back. That was a lovely little tune there, as I'm sure you all heard. And it was guessed correctly by, I'm going to try and pronounce it as Kajata in the chat room. I don't know if I've got that right. Tina made
Well
that.
done, sir, Kajata.
I wasn't far off at all.
No? Yes, okay.
Yes, correctly. As Sonic the Hedgehog, Marble Zone. So, well done, sir. Very good indeed. You win my appreciation as a retro geek, which you stated in the chat room there. Awesome stuff. Did any of you two have any idea what that one was?
I can't say I knew, even though I spent many times going like that game.
Disappointment,
That's a
man.
shame.
No idea, Scott? Despite it sounding familiar?
Do what now?
No ideas of what it was? Before they tested it in the chat?
No, yeah, it did sound really, really familiar.
That's what they
And
all
then
say.
once you said Marble Zone, I was like, oh.
I've had many remixes of that in the past.
That
my
horrible
favourite...
echo is back, by the way.
Oh boy, that's not
Yeah.
cool. It's certainly not cool. Hopefully, we can manage to get it to fix itself somehow. I'll play around with the settings as we continue to chat.
Oh yeah, it's great.
Good. Anyhow, as I was going to say, my favourite version of that track is by a band called Van Gogh, which anybody watching the camera, if I turn that on, you can see a little sticker behind me there, because they're very cool and they sent me lots of cool stuff when I interviewed them. Yeah, check them out. Van Gogh, VANGOUGH. Awesome video game album. They're a progressive rock band. They released an album called Game On, which has got loads of video game remixes. Go and buy it, it's awesome. Anyway, it's nearly time for Tina to talk about The Witcher 2. So we're going to move on to talking about what we've been playing. So, kicking it off, me and Scott spent a little bit of time with a new multiplayer first-person shooter, which was very much hyped about, and a few people, especially in the reviews that I've seen going around, didn't rate it so highly, and that would be Brink from Splash Damage. So Scott, first of all, do you disagree with the more negative reviews?
Oh wow, there's that echo. Sorry. Distracted me like next to me. Wow. I mean, it's so hard in a lot of ways. But it's not that bad. You know, it's really not as bad as they say it is. It is very different. It's a very different style of game.
Totally. Which I think is the problem. Well, not the problem. I don't find it a problem personally, but I think that is why a lot of people were kind of naysaying about it. Because I've heard so many different things. There's a review up on Ironhammers.org, which some of you may have already read, and I'll probably just go over what I said in that again here. And I've heard so many people talking about how, because they were marketing it as like co-op, that they thought it was going to be like Borderlands, or other people were expecting it to have like a big single-player campaign. But as someone who was following it quite avidly up to its launch, I was more than happy with how it turned out, because I knew that it was never aiming to be any of those things.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got some great multiplayer in there, I think, despite not running on my computer very well. Although there was a new patch released last night, and I haven't played it since then, so I'm not sure if that's fixed it. The patch before that did improve it a hell of a lot. Before that it was pretty much unplayable. Now it's really good. It was not really good, but it just doesn't quite feel like I'm getting as much performance out of it as I should do with my computer, which is a shame. It still drops a few frames here and there. Maybe that's been fixed in this recent patch, but there's been a lot of people with ATI cards having problems, so maybe look out for that if you're thinking of picking it up. But as far as the gameplay goes, man, I really enjoy it. I like how I love the setting, I love the art style, And I love the smart movement system, man. How are you getting on with that? Because I think that's another thing that people are not understanding just yet.
Yeah, they're just kind of crouching behind cover and firing.
Exactly, as if they're playing Modern Warfare.
Yeah, when they should be climbing the wall next to them and jumping down on top of them and punching them in the back of the head. I mean, that's just,
exactly.
That's a lot of the allure behind the game's playstyle. I think my only problem with the game, which is what's killing it for me right now, is there's only one mode and only a few maps.
Yeah, maybe, man.
So once you play co-op on both sides, you're kind of like, why would I ever do this again? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I haven't played the Versus yet. You know, the actual.
Yeah, see, I think when you start playing the Versus, which I pretty much dived straight into when I started playing it, because I figured that the maps and stuff are still the same, aren't they? Obviously, from the co-op, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
But you're playing against real players rather than the AI, basically. So you're getting the same experience whether you're playing Versus or co-op or anything, you know. And I love the way they've woven the story into like a normal multiplayer shooter, where you can play it in full multiplayer and still get the little cutscenes at the beginning. That's a great little feature. But going back to that smart movement thing, like you're saying, people crouching around, I would play it and you'd spawn in a certain location and there'd be like 7 guys on your team just running through this one doorway that's in front of you, like as if it was the only place to go. And I was kind of like, I would spawn and be leaping over a wall to get out of where I'd spawned and kind of like running across a little ledge and jumping across a gap and, as you say, jumping down on top of people, creeping up behind people and all that stuff. And all these other guys are just running to their death through this one door. And it's like,
it's basically a straight shot no matter which way you...
Exactly, man.
You're going, because you can just, you'll automatically hop over everything or slide under something.
Yeah,
so
just sprinting.
Not restricted to 1 or 2 doorways.
Indeed. So yeah, I've been totally loving it. And the character customization, man, how are you enjoying that? Because that was obviously a big feature.
It's pretty cool. I just I got a lot happier when I unlocked. I think it's called the Wolf.
Right, I haven't got that far yet.
It's like a beard option, which is what I just had my beard as. So I was like, yeah, all right. Now it actually kind of starting to look like me. That's neat. So yeah, I was really liking that. I got the hairstyle the same, and he's wearing glasses, and so.
Awesome. Do you add any crazy face paint or anything?
No, I was going to, but then I just keep going back to those bandages or just nothing. It's because it's nice, actually.
And the way that implements into the game is also great, man. Like I think we chatted about it on Skype before. In one of our many late night conversations, however wrong that may come across. But the way all your characters and your friends' characters all appear in the cutscenes and stuff at the beginning and the ends of the levels. It's just really cool just to create a character and not only see your character in a cutscene as you would with many games, but also see all your friends, buddies, characters like around you in the cutscenes and stuff, which I think was just a nice little touch, man. Yeah,
and with the I just spaced their name. The operative, right? Is it operative?
Operative. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the operative class. If you play with a regular team of buddies, it kind of adds that extra mind game, because whenever they disguise themselves as an enemy teammate, it has to be an actual player, and they'll actually look exactly like that player, totally. And how he customized. So you have to kind of, I don't know, it's good and bad, because if all of a sudden there's 2 of you standing there, obviously someone's going to, go, wait a minute.
Yeah.
But it's neat, because then he's dead for a while, and there's, a decent downtime, so you can run around and backstab his friends and whatnot. So, yeah, I thought that was neat to put that customization in play in another way, too.
It would be cool if the operative could tell which character they look like, which I don't believe they can. Does it tell you?
would be really cool if they like glowed red or something, and you always knew where they were, or something like you put a tracking beacon on.
Yeah, so you
knew.
You could take out the person who looks the same as you first, so then you were in the clear. That would be pretty awesome.
I mean, you could always memorize whoever it is that you're taking and be like, okay, he's got this shirt, he's got these pants, or
Yeah, that would be a way to do it. Not quite so simple, but it'd be like if we had a nice Left 4 Dead outline when someone was being attacked. That would be awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be perfect. Tino, have you come across it at all? Is there anything first-person shooter that you're into?
It's totally just not my style of game. I
thought that was the case.
Yeah, absolutely. See, when it comes to shooting games, I am absolutely terrible.
Yep.
Terrible.
Now you know how I felt
make it better.
when we were talking about MMOs.
I don't know, I get motion sick at the drop of a hat as well, so like when I tend to play anything that's first person, I get motion sick, and it's just so not fun.
Yeah, I've heard a few people saying that, which is a shame.
Yeah,
I don't know.
COD's the worst for it, actually.
Really?
Yeah, terrible.
Really?
And then I was playing Portal to try to get in on what looks to be a very, very cool little game, and no, couldn't do it.
I actually got extremely motion sick when I went back to Portal, and I never get motion sick in first-person shooters. But it turns out a lot of the games are starting to limit your field of view.
Yes.
Whereas it should be 90, it's like between 60 and 75, and that makes you really, really sick.
That makes a huge difference on a PC as well.
Yeah, and I know that in the Portal games, because they're Valve games, you can actually go in and change the point of view to whatever you want.
Yep. I did do that, but by that point it was already past that point of, oh no, I already feel sick, so there was just no point. I'll go back to it someday and see if I can tolerate some more, maybe play it in small bunches,
If you can,
it's worth it.
Definitely, I was going to say, I highly recommend that you try at least. I don't want you to break another mouse or anything by being sick on it. But, definitely give it a try because it is amazing.
My was saying it made her sick too, and she played Portal 1 in 10-minute increments, but she played through the entire camp.
I would do the same. It's shocking.
That's a real shame for people that experience that, because I've never experienced that before. I get motion sick in cars and stuff, but never had it with games. But like I was saying, with the field of view on the PC, when a lot of games that have come from the consoles and stuff, usually I've heard people complaining about the field of view. Because when you're sitting with your nose up against the monitor on a PC, it's you need a different field of view to what you would on a big TV, But we all know the story by now. Stupid consoles. Anyway, Tina, your moment to get all your squeals of excitement off your chest. The Witcher 2. Have you played it, Scott, first of all?
No, I haven't played it yet.
No. So, the stage is yours now.
First one, but I do hear the second one is leaps and bounds better, so.
Tell me all about it.
Well, my Facebook status when I started playing that game was, oh my god, Witcher 2, screw. It is so good. So good. Right from the very first second of playing it, you're just engrossed, and to me, that's what I really, really like in a game. If a game doesn't have a strong storyline, it doesn't matter how pretty it is and things like that, I'm just not interested. It has to have a story to hold me, and it really, really, really does deliver. I mean, Geralt is not the most lovable character in the world, but you still really, really get behind him, and every single choice you make in the game is going to affect something, and that is it just makes it feel way, way more open than what it actually is. It takes on a kind of Oblivion feel with the openness, even though in terms of actual exploration and stuff, you're actually quite penned in. But you just don't feel it because you have so many choices in the story that it doesn't seem to matter, which is really, really cool. What else? Yeah, it's divided into 5 different parts. There's, kind of a prologue bit, and then there's 3 acts, and then there's the ending. A lot of people have been let down by the ending. I haven't got that far yet. So I'm kind of waiting with bated breath and hoping that it keeps up with the great pace of the story so far, because it's just been absolutely excellent. And then I'm really, really loving the fact that your choices, even right from, you know, Act 1, affect the very next act and the next act and the next act. And
yeah, that was something I'd heard a lot of people saying. Whereas most games, like, you make a choice and it will kind of maybe affect one little thing later on in the game. Like, these choices are like really big choices that affect the whole rest of your gameplay, you know.
One of the nicest things about it is the combat overhaul. The Witcher, from what I've heard, has not had a great combat system. It's been very much, you know, kind of like very much like patterned movement. You know, you move and then they move, and you know, it's all kind of coordinated. It's a lot more free in The Witcher 2. You really need to keep your wits about you. See, the introduction tutorial, it was punishing, man. I tried to play it on normal and I got my butt kicked. It was so not good. I fully admit, put it down to easy mode for the tutorial. I hang my head in shame, but I had to.
I've heard other people say exactly the same thing though, so you're not alone.
Yeah, I don't think I am, because the tutorial, like, even so much as like the windows telling you what to do, they're gone in a second. They're gone in the blink of an eye, and you're like, okay, I didn't really read that. I don't know what I'm doing. So you kind of have to look a lot of things up. But it's kind of fun anyway, because it forces you to learn by yourself, kind of thing, and it lets you know that you're not going to be in for an easy ride, because the game is not that simplistic. The combat, I mean, especially those silly console people, they'll hear about the combat system and go, oh, right, yeah, you hit a couple of keyboard buttons, you hit a couple of mouse buttons, there you go, your combat's done. Yeah. Great. Doesn't sound that exciting to me. But it's actually so challenging. You need to know when to use your spell strategically. Different mobs will do different things to you, like some will explode when they die, and of course that's bad news if they're up close, so you need to use your traps effectively. Yeah, I mean, you just really, really need to think. You can't take as many blows as what you'd like. You can't block all the time, just infinitely, because, you know, it's going to drain your bars, which, you know, is just going to deplete totally at some point, and then you can't block at all. So you need to think about everything you do.
There's a like knockback effect as well that happens in some occasions where kind of you get hit and then it takes like a few seconds to be able to respond, you know. Which I've heard like makes the combat a lot more challenging as well.
Definitely, and you have to be kind of strategic about your like original positioning as well, because there's times when enemies are really, really close together, and one bad tumble and lets you straight into the next mob before you're even ready, and then you're like, oops.
Never a good thing to be saying.
Yeah, no, it's just not very good that way. But it makes you think, it keeps you aware of your map and your goings on, and what a beautiful map it is. So that is no hard feat, let me tell you. It's an absolutely stunning game. Like, when I first heard that The Witcher 2 was coming out and saw like the first screenies and stuff, I thought, oh yeah, it's just going to be another title that just lets its graphics carry it. But it totally wasn't. Absolutely totally wasn't. And I'm totally enjoying playing it and can't wait to get my review out, really.
Awesome. I was about to say that your review should be coming up soon. I can't wait to read it.
Very, very soon. It would be out now, but it's 17 gig worth of games, so it's really quite hefty.
Work your way through it. So everybody who's listening can obviously watch out for that on ironhammers.org. It will be appearing shortly. Follow me on Twitter and I'm sure we'll alert you as to when that goes live. Or we will, because it will automatically alert everybody through wonderful things such as WordPress plugins. Oh, how I love them.
Handy dandy.
Yeah, awesome stuff. But I can imagine it's going to be a gleamingly positive review when it does.
Yeah, just a bit.
Great stuff, and I am going to try and get around to playing it myself. I think Scott's pretty keen to play it as well, man.
Yeah, that kind of seems like the natural evolution of that type of fighting, I guess, in the RPG, in the action RPG games. I know that I was still kind of left wanting in the combat for like Prince of Persia, so that's another game where it could really kind of benefit from that. So I'm hoping more games start to do that as well. Yeah,
I'm hoping more games do what they seem to have done and take on so much of the feedback from the original, because it seems like they've fixed. There were so many little issues and little niggles that people are complaining about in the first one. And everything I've heard so far seems to be pretty positive about the new one, and they're all saying that they've cleaned it up and changed it. Whereas a lot of games will kind of just stumble along and think, oh well, people will buy it. Seems they've done a pretty good job. So
actually, but what I really wanted to know about The Witcher 2, and no one's answered me yet, but does he still have that ridiculous combat style from The Witcher 1 where he like waves his sword above his head?
I find the kind of combat graphics really, really cool. He does all sorts of different funky looking moves, and it's not so much just flailing the sword around, and you know, it doesn't kind of look like it's ever going to connect, and it just looks totally stupid. I mean, it's very, very cool. And like say he does a roll to get into combat, you know, his sword directions are going to kind of flow from that and things like that. So I think it was very cool.
Good.
Awesome stuff. Moving on to something a little bit less epic that I've been playing. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with it. It's called The Tiny Bang Story. Any of you guys heard of it, or even caught a glance of it? Or are we going to have another Frozen Synapse?
I've heard of it.
You've heard of it?
I've seen it on Steam since it was released, but I haven't actually played anything of it yet.
Yeah, no, it's like a point-and-click adventure game, which is the type of game that makes me feel so stupid at times. Like, you know, like I don't know what it is. I just cannot get the kind of type of thinking that gets you through these games. Sometimes I'm just sat there thinking, huh? What do you want me to do? I know I just have to click on something, but what? But it's really good from what I've played of it. The art style is like remarkably similar to Machinarium.
Now, aren't they the same guys that did Darwinia?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
A few years back?
I'm not sure. If you know their names, I might be able to tell you, just from seeing the splash screen. But I'm not entirely sure. But the art style is very similar. The thing that I don't quite get about it is there doesn't seem like to be much of a storyline to it, which is kind of a bit of a blow with one of these type of games, because most of the time with these things, the thing that carries it through and makes you want to keep playing is the storyline. And from the few levels that I've played, and I say a few levels because it's just taken me so long to get through a level, they're very long, lots of different things to like figure out and do before you get to the end, lots of different little puzzles. The puzzles are so varied that it's really great. Some of them will be simple things that just happen on the screen, like in the level where you are. Other times it will be, it will take you to a separate place where you have to like piece a puzzle together. There was another one I played where you had to match up a load of pipes to allow water to flow through to the other side and things like that. And then once you complete that, something else in the level will change, and that will kind of give you a little hint as to what you need to do next. And all the way through you're collecting little jigsaw puzzle pieces from around the level, and when you finish the level you think you're finished, but you've actually got to piece together all the jigsaw puzzles which make up the picture that is on the title screen when you boot the game up. So you kind of gradually build up the title screen picture as you work your way through. Which was just a like neat little touch, you know. It kind of just added something a little bit different.
By the way, it looks like Calibria Games are the ones that made Tiny Bang, and it was Introversion that made Darwinia. So
it wasn't the same, guys. But at least you found out and redeemed yourself.
Yeah.
But Tiny Bang Story, a lot of people have been like raving about it, saying about how much they love it. I've seen a few different posts around the internet. And for fans of the little puzzle and adventure games, I'm sure they will find it absolutely great. Like, if you can get your head around that way of thinking, like I struggle with it sometimes, and the lack of objectives is something that I've spoken about in games before, which, you know, like I'm so used to a game telling me like, okay, go and do this, and then you do it, and then it tells you to go and do something else. Whereas with these games, you know how it just throws you in and just you need to work out what you need to do all by yourself, and it causes me a few problems. But that said, despite making me feel stupid, when I did finally work it out, even with the help of the hint system, it made me feel rather clever in the end, so that was quite nice. Although the hint system is a really good thing, the way they've implemented it, where you can't just pick up a hint at any time. You have to collect these little firefly things that are flying around, and once you've gathered so many, you can ask for a hint. And it's frustrating catching these fireflies, which does really drive you to try and work it out for yourself before you go chasing them around the level to try and get a hint. So they've implemented that very well. But the only thing, like I say, that is kind of holding it back for me is the lack of any real storyline. It kind of just throws you into these very strange environments with old ladies making mirrors, and can't even imagine what else was in there. There was a lady that lived in a shoe by the looks of it. All kinds of strange stuff going on, and there's just really no explanation as to why it's happening, which was a bit of a drawback. So unless you're a big fan of adventure games, then probably give it a miss. But the puzzles that are in there are definitely enough to sustain it for a fan of that genre. That's what I would say. So I think that's about all. Is there anything else that any of you guys have had a little play with that you think is worth a mention?
I haven't played some older games. That counts.
You can give us a quick run through.
Dark Sport.
How's that treating you, man?
It's good. It's really good. I spent way too many hours in the customization, like hours and hours.
More so than in Brink?
Do what now?
More so than in Brink?
Oh yeah, well yeah. I mean, just it's kind of the nature of it. It uses the sport engine, so there's a lot to change. Mm-hmm. And the adventure mode is, like the actual gameplay is actually, like, it looks really simplistic, but there's quite a bit more to it as you play the game. So it starts off a little bit slow, but you go through the first. It has like Mario-style levels, I guess, if that makes sense, in the way that they're numbered at least. There's like 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3. Yeah,
I noticed that in the background when I played.
And once you get through all the 1 dash whatever. Then you've unlocked all the features that you're going to be regularly using throughout the game. So, yeah, it's worth giving it a shot at least until you get into 2.1 or 2.2.
Yeah, so, I played the beta and I played like the very, very early parts of it, and I obviously never got that far, which I did enjoy what I played of it, but like you say, it was a little bit simplistic at the start.
Yeah.
But from what I've seen of like the videos and stuff, seems like the combat and everything else does really kind of become a lot more complex as you get further into it.
Yeah, because you have a team of 3. And you want to kind of arrange that team so that their abilities play off of each other, because you get 3 abilities that are individual to each character that you can switch between, and then they each have 1 ability that you can use as any of the 3 characters. So you can kind of mix and match powers. So it makes it for pretty interesting play. And I have to say I'm blown away by Singularity, because I got that for like $10 on Steam on that.
Oh, you played it? I played it when it came out, man, and I was pretty impressed with it as well, to be honest.
Yeah, it's really cool. I could not stop playing it last night.
It's very, very story-driven, isn't it, man?
Say again, sorry.
Very story-driven.
Yes, yeah. It's really cool how you just like massively affect the story within like the first 10 minutes. Yeah,
everything just completely changes.
Yeah, it's really cool. They just barely get you kind of used to this world, and then you literally change everything. And yeah, the gadgets and stuff in it, I won't give any of that away, but it's worth playing until you get the neat little hand gadget, and keep upgrading that. It does some really neat things. So yeah, I was really impressed.
Especially when it's going cheap on Steam.
Yeah, it was like $10.60 or something.
Definitely worthwhile at a price like that.
That's it for me.
Anything else you played at all, Tim?
I've pretty much been all about The Witcher 2 this week, funny enough. No, I'm pretty much waiting for next week for the Sims expansion. I am so excited for that. I just can't wait. This week's not been pretty
more excited about that than any other Sims expansion I've ever seen, to be honest.
It looks so good. So good. It's going to bring so much to the game, and it's just looking great. I've loved all your news posts on it.
Yay, we got exclusive content. I was well happy.
Yeah, well done, sir.
Like, yeah, exclusive Sims content. Yeah.
Apart from that, all I've really been playing is Mountain Blade Fire and Sword. The like multiplayer mode in that has been rather fun. I'm not sold on the single player quite as much. I haven't really gone back to the single player, to be honest, but the multiplayer just it keeps me going, like, when I'm not busy playing World of Warcraft.
You have a review of also.
Oh, totally. I run a guild in World of Warcraft, a old raiding guild, and we're still flying away through the content, but it's kind of on a dry patch, but every game has those wee patches, don't you, not like really?
Sure does.
Yeah, after the new expansion's been out for a few months, it kind of starts to slow down a little bit.
I noticed in your wonderful coverage of the Activision conference call not so long ago, they mentioned that they're going to try and start pushing out content more regularly.
They are, and it's well needed because we're banging through it quicker. We know the drill. They haven't really worked on anything that is shockingly new in terms of raid mechanics or anything like that. So we kind of know what to do at this point. So we're just running through the content quicker than they can really anticipate, and they're kind of slacking, to be honest.
Massive congratulations on your coverage of that call there, Tina, man. That was great job there. Lots of good stories. The conference call was really interesting to listen to. It had quite a lot going on. I can imagine so. Unfortunately, I couldn't catch it myself. I'm just looking forward to watching the big E3 conferences next month, I believe. It's going to be my day for a whole day. I just heard today that the Sony conference is going to be 5 hours long, so I'm not so sure about that one. But
that might need our supplies in for a lower hardcore gamers who are well used to 5 hours stints in front of the PC. Let's be fair.
Definitely going to have to get the second monitor set up, I reckon. So I can have that.
I'm guessing the first 5 hours are just all apologizing. So
5 hours. Sorry about the big mess up. We didn't mean to. And then maybe like 30 minutes of them trying to redeem themselves with a new announcement or something. Like they're going to scrap online completely and let Valve do it for us instead. That would work. Anyway, not that I care too much about the PlayStation. Not that I care at all, to be honest. We're going to take a quick break again now. That's what we've been playing this week. I've been playing a couple of other things, Fable 3. There was something else, but it's completely evaded my mind now. So, Fable 3, I haven't played all that much of it yet. I've been kind of going in little chunks, and I need to get a really, really good session in to be able to really give my verdict. At the moment, I'm kind of 50-50, I'm not too sure. But most people will know all about it anyway, because it's been out for 6 months. It took them that long to make a PC version. Because they love us so much. Because Microsoft appreciate the fact that we all run Windows just so we can play games. On that note, we're going to take another quick break. Anybody in the chat room, try and take a guess at what video game this song is a remix from. I got it out in the end. We'll be back very, very shortly, where we will talk about our PC Game Question of the Week, where we asked you, which franchise would you most like to see become an MMO? We got some good answers coming. If you haven't answered it yet and you'd like to, head over to ironhammers.org quickly during the next 3 or 4 minutes during this song and get your answers in, and we'll be sure to read them out in the next segment, as well as discussing what we might like to see become an MMO in the future, no matter how much it probably will never ever happen. So stay tuned for that, and we will be right back. Hey everybody, I hope you're still there. Welcome back to Ironhammers Live, episode number 43. We're now about to enter the final part of the show, and didn't seem like you two guys had any idea of what was going on with that song in the chat room. No. But Kajata got it right once again. Great stuff, man.
Good.
Awesome job. He's taken Zero Wing's place, Scott.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
He's not around tonight, but he used to guess every single song when we did this before.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, good job. Thumbs up to you, sir. At least I think you're a sir. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I have to say, it does have help. There are quite a few people downstairs in my living room. Lots of my friends are over. So yeah, I wouldn't take it whether it's just Kajata.
Yeah, they're all getting on YouTube and trying to find out what it is.
That's what it is.
Anyhow, time to get on to talking about our question of the week, and then after that we'll take a little look at the releases that are coming out this week and attempt to try and offer you our pick of the week if we can come to some sort of unanimous decision, which we probably won't. Either way, let's get along to our answers of this week's question of the week, which was, as I mentioned before the break there, which game franchise would you most like to see become an MMO? So this question was really spawned by the idea that 2K Games announced that they've teamed up to release an MMO of one of their big franchises. And
which, but...
Yeah, me and Scott were kind of speculating a little bit last night, weren't we?
Yeah.
As to which it might be, and I kind of thought, well, we need a question of the week, so why not open it up a little bit and ask, just in general, which game people most like. But I did notice that 2K Games have got the rights to Family Guy, so we could be in for a treat.
Oh, no.
No, that was sarcasm in its highest form. I wouldn't want to see that ever, please. Anyway, Honey Monkey in the comment section on the website says simply, dude, Borderlands. Which is something I've heard a few people saying before. Would you guys care to play a Borderlands MMO?
I would give that a go.
Yeah, I think I would play it too. Because I love the idea of Borderlands, but it's not my kind of game, but the characters really appeal, so yeah, I could totally see that working.
Yeah, and they've got the classes and stuff in there already, and there's lots of different factions and stuff. It could work quite well. Next up, Chris Brady says Diablo, Dragon Age, or a rehash of Warhammer. Which could be quite interesting. Diablo would be quite a nice one.
That's tick from me.
Totally, yeah.
Everybody trying to kill each other over all of the whale stuff, right?
Knifer, I believe, is how that's pronounced.
Oh, yeah, it's Knifer, yeah.
Yeah, says Pokemon, hands down, but Nintendo are terrified that if they made an online game, people might use it to say naughty things to kids. They're probably also terrified that it wouldn't work on any of their systems and they'd have to release it for another platform. So, you don't want to be adding your friends in an MMO with friend codes, of all things.
Yeah.
It could prove to be a bit of a problem. But the next comment was from Kajata, the retro king of music from video games in the chat room there, who also says, come on, Pokemon. Even a simple one like the Game Boy DS versions, but with multiplayer and battles like Pokemon Colosseum. Only problem is that Nintendo are so scared of letting their little kid players talk to other players online. So it's the same theme there. Come on Nintendo, grow a pair. They've got a pair of screens, which they're very much in love with, on their DS. Now with a 3D one, which I'm not so keen on. We've spoken about that on a previous show with Mr. GSS Lifelike. Yeah, Pokemon I would love to see, but could they please stick with the first 150 Pokemon? Like, all this new stuff is just eluded me now. I was a massive Pokemon fan when I was younger. Absolutely loved it, watched all the TV series, like, story that I told before, took a week off school when Pokemon Red came out. I was like, Mom, I'm so ill. All I can do is look at my Game Boy this week. No chance I'm going to school. But it could work, I guess. Soraf, or Soraf, I believe, maybe the little accent may mean on the O. I don't know.
No, that's just for World of Warcraft, just to get him the name, to be honest. He's just trying to be fancy.
I see. I've always thought an Elder Scrolls MMO would work quite well. They have lore, the races, an awesome class system, and the fantasy setting. All this franchise needs is raids, and you're sorted. A MMO version of Elder Scrolls using the updated engine behind Skyrim would be just epic.
Oh, that's true.
Sounds pretty true.
Yeah.
Skyrim does definitely look like it's shaping up to be something special.
Indeed.
If the new game engine, if only that's the thing they change, then it'll be amazing. The old one was having a few problems here and there. Kajaa, another comment, says Legend of Zelda would be perfect. There's so many races and enemies, variants would not be a problem. The world is huge, and putting different places from different games would be easy for the programmers. The massive amount of temples could cover for raids, and the dungeons would cover for, well, dungeons. It could easily be based in the time without Link, or as Link as King with Zelda.
But then they would have to settle on one of the 50 storylines, right?
That's true.
Yeah, they would, and see, they would have to definitely eliminate Link from the equation if they made a Zelda MMO, because otherwise everyone would just want to play Link, obviously, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
There's a class just called Link.
I'm not sure if a Zelda game would work without Link, though. Would that really work?
I don't know.
Maybe Link died saving the world, and it's just Princess Zelda, and she runs the whole place. I don't know. Queen Zelda.
Queen Zelda. That's fun.
Yeah, it's kind of like, does the world stand up by itself, or do you need those characters and that storyline to keep it going, you know? And I do think it's storyline that carries Zelda, so I don't know, maybe not, maybe it wouldn't work.
Yeah. Although there seems to be a lot of people who want a Nintendo MMO so far. TJ says, Mass Effect. The universe is well realised with many opportunities for playable races, equipment and roleplay opportunities. Now that I would like to see massively. Perhaps Star Wars The Old Republic can provide us a tester, and they could be like, hey, that works, we'll get Mass Effect 3 out next year, and then we'll start working on Mass Effect MMO. We can cross our fingers for that. I would absolutely love to see that. That would be awesome. But who would be Shepard? It's the same problem. Who would be Shepard? Although the universe in Mass Effect really could stand on its own, I think.
They could just choose a faction and race and all that stuff.
I would be a Quarian or whatever they're called. They're awesome.
The floating jelly guys?
No.
Right? No, they're like the tall-headed lizard.
Yeah.
Smart guys that are all skinny and only live for like 40 years. It's sad that I know that, isn't it?
They would be awesome. No, it's good that you know that, man.
You know, the lifespan of a Quarian is only 40 years. I read a lot when I played Mass Effect, I'll just say that.
You can just get so lost in those games, man. I love it.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. I can't wait for the new one. And an MMO may get me there. Now, Star Wars MMO, obviously coming soon. Are you guys?
The last one failed pretty hard. So
yeah. Do you
it
think
was good, then it was bad, then it was good, then it was horrible, and then it was like a bowling game eventually. Like it wasn't even the same game.
Do you think it can do what they're trying to with it? Because
I think it's possible. I mean, if they just kind of buckle down and focus, you know, they gave in to way too many people in the last one. And changed way too many things way too often. So, yeah, I mean, if they just square it off and say this is what it is, and follow suit, I don't know. It's possible. I mean, I'm sure everyone's excited. So.
I know a huge number of my friends are waiting on it with bated breath, but I don't know. I don't know whether they can really live up to it. I mean, it's a really, really huge task to take on because, you know, the whole franchise is such strong meaning. There is so many different people and so many different generations of people that it's a tricky one to even touch, to be honest.
It is one of those ones where you kind of be very nervous to get into action, but BioWare have been very brave. And
I remember when the first Star Wars MMO started, you had like a 1% chance on like character creation that your character could be force sensitive, I guess, and could become a Jedi, and then everyone got like really butthurt, so they made it so everyone could become a Jedi, and that kind of ruined it, 'cause it's just a bunch of Jedis running around, no one wanted to be anything else.
Yeah, well, I could see that happening in the new one, to be honest, although I'm blatantly playing as a bounty hunter, there's no doubt about it.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, man, cool. We're sorted then, it's me and you, man.
Bounty hunter team.
We're going to be so rich. Common Troll, anyway, moving on, says Black Ops just to see if they'd still use matchmaking. They probably would. Cootie in the chat room was talking about MMO FPSs earlier on. Do you guys, I know Tina was expressing her concerns. Either of you think that they could really take off?
I just don't. I don't see how you can keep it so that it is not just a battlefield of chaos. I think one of the only things that is handled that in any sort of coherent way, and I think if it's Luke, is EVE Online. I mean, it's not, you know, an FPS so much as a you know, kind of strategy sort of MMO, but I mean, they have huge, you know, battles and their PvP kind of thing with, you know, people controlling many players, which is great. But you know, we kind of touched on it earlier. It's very slow. It's not quite the same as what, you know, a typical FPS would be. You know, I just can't see it being that frantic and that filled with people. I don't think that you could really get the balance there. I mean, you can't have everything in your game, you know. Yeah,
I think it would just be a mess, to be honest, if they tried it.
Online is so good and so bad. Like, just couldn't make up its mind.
No, I can't say I'm a player, but my housemate is absolutely obsessed. Knifer, actually, he posted. He's a big EVE Online fan, and yeah, I think he gets great enjoyment out of it.
It's hard to get your foot in the door on that game, but it is neat.
Yeah, very steep learning curve on it, but you know, if you fall into, you know, a group of friends who are already playing and have played for a number of years and shit, it gives you a wee advantage.
Cool. Moving on to a comment from yourself, Tina, which I believe was posted on the behalf of somebody else.
Yes, it was posted on my Facebook. I've been asking this question all day, and it was from Ken Quigley, who wrote quite a few comments there on the actual thread as well. He had quite a few nice suggestions for us.
He did?
Yeah.
I will start with the first, which was Dark Future, classic turn-based games workshop Gameroo, with a Wikipedia link, which I will probably need to click on because I'm not too sure about what that one is. How it works as an MMO, very like the GTA games with RPG characters and vehicle customization. Can you expand upon that at all, Tina?
It's not actually one I've played either. Although I see Games Workshop, and you know, I can see that working. Anything sort of fantasy like that is very easy to apply to an MMO kind of setting. So yeah, that one could work. That one could work.
And he also says Deus Ex, a freaking amazing game, not Invisible War, that was poop in brackets. Everything for an MMO, extensive background, factions everywhere, Templars, Illuminati, Core, to name but a few, an awesome mix and matched skill system and lots of yummy weaponry and armor. I think that could be a thumbs up. Yeah,
he's definitely onto something there. He hits, you know, right in the head of the nail by, you know, pointing out how many different facets and layers the game already has, which just make it a perfect MMO.
I think it could suffer from the Star Wars syndrome in a way.
It might, yeah, because it is one of those untouchables as well, like, really, isn't it?
It is, I don't know. Well, I'm kind of nervous for the new one, to be honest, how they've kind of changed it so much. But I'm hoping to hell that it's going to be great, and from what I've seen, it looks great.
Yeah, they're giving some love to you API users, huh?
Yeah, let's hope so, man. Somebody needs to.
They are, yeah. They're doing a whole 3-monitor 90-degree angle setup feature.
Awesome stuff, the Affinity stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. There you go. Although by that time, I think I might have made the jump to NVIDIA, man, after recent experiences.
Yeah.
Anyway, one more from Ken here. He says, "It's me again. In addition to wanting to see a Deus Ex MMO, I'd love to see an actual horror MMO with real scares, and where better to start looking for an IP for a horror MMO than none other than the granddaddy of them all, Call of Cthulhu. But I'd say, instead of the usual MMO camera angles, the Resident Evil 4 behind the shoulder angle would be pretty sweet. P.S. Thank you for pasting up my earlier comment. I'm on an Android phone and didn't realise I could comment. So I think thank you, Mr. Utina.
Yeah.
But yeah, a horror MMO, man. That's a very good idea, I think.
I would love it. See things that can actually properly scare me. I just love them. And then anybody who's listening that knows me at all knows that I am absolutely queen of the geeks and love my kind of people roleplay. So when I hear Call of Cthulhu, it's like instant thumbs up, pretty much. Awesome in the books. Awesome. Anyone who likes to read will know that, there's a great storyline there to, kind of pull from. So yeah, I think Call of Cthulhu could be absolutely amazing. I don't know what you would really do in terms of characterization though. That would be really incredible.
You just had a bit of characterization via Skype of your own there.
Oh no!
You went all kind of robotic.
Yeah, that's if I'm doing the same thing, or if it's just our Skype.
No, you're sounding great, Scott. Yeah, it's just you.
I all the time.
I can still kind of understand what you're saying. It's just like I'm talking to GLaDOS.
Maybe we can just boot you and reinvite you, and maybe that'll fix it.
Yeah, maybe we can. If I can do that successfully, my Skype skills are rather awful. I don't know. I think if you leave the call, then I'll invite you back in. But Scott, man, a horror MMO, how does that appeal to you, man? Are you much of a horror person?
Yeah, I am. And I was going to ask Tina a question there, but I think she's gone, isn't she?
No, I'm back. I reinvented myself.
Awesome stuff.
Sounds better too. All right. Did you get a chance to play Amnesia?
No.
Oh,
I didn't.
Brilliant.
Really?
I've never been so
fucking
scared in my life. I was like pissing myself.
Dude, the trailer
totally worth just shutting off all the lights and using headphones. Oh.
Nice. I must give it a go.
Although it's first person, so you might want to try and play a demo or something first.
Oh yeah.
You don't want to be. You don't want to be feeling
this instinct
scared
that
out of life.
It's so unique. I can't tell if I'm talking over you.
No, you're good. Continue.
Oh, sorry. Skype gets all weird, and I'm like, I think that might mean I'm talking over someone. No, this neat feeling just kind of kicks in. It's the only game that gives you the instinct, like, oh, I just need to hunker down and not move, and yeah, it's really cool. But then you have to push yourself forward. So I guess if there's an MMO that could bring that same kind of unique feeling. Like if there's an Amnesia MMO, I don't think that would do very well, because you don't even have any weapons or anything in that.
Yeah.
But wow, yeah, that could be really cool. Be really, really hard to do.
Yeah, if they could implement it, I think it would be really awesome. But even looking at other games that are horror, me trying to divert away from the MMO part here is a silly question of the week for me. It's very hard for games to really get that feeling across, which I think Amnesia does very well because of the lack of weapons.
Yeah,
you kind of feel much less powerful and you kind of not so in control. But like I said, just the trailer for that game scared the life out of me, Scott, man.
Yeah,
that was
I saw the trailer and I was like, I'm buying it.
But moving on to the final comment of this week's question, and it kind of kind of wraps everything all up in the usual way that Mr. Cootie, who's in the chat room there, normally manages to do, and he simply says MMORPG equals waste of time.
It's broken my heart, Kitty. Broken my heart.
See what you've done, Coot? He's not the most.
I was going to attempt to give mine live. I probably should just put it on the site.
You're more than welcome to take it away right now, seeing as we've got the others out of the way, man.
Alright.
Do it. What would you like to see made into an MMO?
I would love to see Dawn of War 40,000.
Yep.
Not just Dawn of War, but the Dawn of War 40,000.
No, I'm going to chime in here because that was my pick as well, man.
Oh, really?
Well, it started off, get your notebook out, Tina, because I'm about to say StarCraft again.
Right, no worries, always. Really noticed.
I started thinking about the World of StarCraft mod that people were making. Obviously, as soon as this question came out, StarCraft is always in the forefront of my mind. And then I kind of remembered what you were saying about. You mentioned Warhammer 40k when we talked about it last night, and I think that would actually work way better than a StarCraft MMO ever would. Simply because, although there's a lot of lore behind StarCraft, if you delve into the books and the manga books and all that kind of stuff. Dawn of War obviously has a whole lot more behind it.
Just drowned in it.
Exactly, man. And you've got all the different factions and all the cool stuff that we've seen in like the more recent games, the latest expansion for Dawn of War 2. So, and I think that would translate into a really great MMO in a way that puts you into that kind of futuristic space setting, but in a totally different way to what all the other MMOs have done in the past. You kind of see what I'm saying?
I think so.
Like, whereas we've seen like other games like EVE Online and stuff that are set in like space and stuff like that, you know, they're all kind of very like realistic, kind of futuristic settings, like as realistic as a futuristic setting can be, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Whereas the Warhammer 40k whole lore is kind of fantasy based still, like a lot of MMOs are, and as we know and as Tina said a minute ago, works really well in an MMO, but it puts you into that futuristic setting at the same time.
Yeah,
it worked great.
Very unique. I think the only real trouble they would have would be classes. It would be very hard to nail down the quote unquote classes, because you know, do you go ranged Marine? Is that like one class? And then there's another class that uses like a bolter in one hand and a chainsaw sword in the other, and that's, you know, I mean, you'd have to find a way to mix the melee and ranged really well, and it might be kind of a challenge.
Yeah, and I think the races would have to have very different classes to one another as well. Whereas we see like maybe a couple of different classes for different races in other MMOs. Like you couldn't make a Tyrannid class in any way the same as a Space Marine class, if you see what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They would have to be totally different, you know. But it would be amazing if it ever happened.
It really would be. That's what I thought the first one was going to be when they announced that, like a few years back.
Yeah.
They were like, you know, Warhammer Online, and I'm like, yes, oh, it's gonna be so good. Oh, it's the medieval one. Well, okay, that's still not too bad.
Not too bad, but nowhere near as cool.
Yeah.
So that's me and you agreed, but Tina seems to have had her wish come true, according to these notes I've got in front of me in the beautiful purple text that you've placed there.
Of course, it has to be purple.
Take it away.
Yeah, CCP are making a World of Darkness MMO, and I can't even tell you how excited I am for that. I mean,
as in vampire?
Yeah, vampire, and mage, and werewolf. Really? Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yes, well,
don't tell anyone. Wait, oops.
What was that? You still play?
Yeah, we still play the pen and paper.
So do I. I love those games. I just love those games. Well, it's going to be based on the Masquerade again. So early tips tell us anyway. Which is nice. I don't know why they're not going for the new game. Probably because it didn't have quite the same uptake.
Yeah, I didn't like the newer ones much.
No, I don't know. I already had like my favorite, you know, kind of sects of vampire and things like that, and then they went and wrecked it all, and it's like, I don't really like this. It's supposed to be the same world, and yet now you're changing so much, you know. I don't know. But yeah, I'm just totally thrilled for that. Did you play things like Bloodlines and all that?
Yeah, I played, I even played the first really crappy one for the PC.
Really?
I'm trying to remember what it was called now. Vampire the Masquerade something. Oh man, I still have it around here somewhere too. Yeah, where you start out as like the Crusader, and then you get bitten. And it's back in like the Dark Ages, and then you eventually come to current time, like the year 2000. And yeah, it was actually pretty fun, but very you could tell they had a very small budget, so.
I mean, definitely, the Masquerade Bloodlines definitely left me wanting so much more. I mean, it was just so buggy. It was so bad.
It was.
But so good. It had so much potential, and it just left me so frustrated. So I'm really, really excited. They're talking about putting a focus on, you know, kind of player politics, you know, that kind of interpersonal stuff and all your social interaction and stuff, and I'm just going to get such a kick out of that. I mean, I would always have played the Sombra or Deva as classes which are quite manipulative wee witches, and I'm totally going to get a kick out of that. It's going to be so good.
That's cool. I wonder how they're going to let you play out things like the Malkavians and... Yeah, I mean... It's really cool.
Yeah, I just can't wait to see how they're going to make all that work. And then also, I don't quite know what's going on with EA, but they were hiring there at the end of March for an unannounced MMO. They were hiring like a MMO web architect person. So they're definitely working on something MMO related. I don't know what, but I hope that it is a new kind of Sims MMO, because I'm just Sims obsessed. Especially after Sims Online was such a flop.
Yeah.
That would be cool for the fans.
Yeah, I would just love it.
For the non-fans, not so much.
Indeed.
It's one of those love it or hate it games, I'm afraid.
I know that we were talking about Bloodlines. I fought through the bugs so many times, and I still got like 4 playthroughs in on that game.
Nice. Yeah, it's challenging but fun. Yeah.
One thing I will throw in quickly is Age of Empires Online, talking about games moving to the MMO space. I've been playing a bit of the beta of that, and I am surprised at how well they've managed to implement it as an RTS MMO.
That could work really well, yeah.
It really does work great from what I've played. I've only played the early parts of it, and I can imagine it's going to get a whole lot better as you get further in. But I'm really looking forward to it now, man, which I wasn't at first. But perhaps mixing the RTS into the MMO is the way to get me hooked, I guess. But I'm so frightened because it looks like it's going to be microtransactions orientated. I'm not so keen on.
It could be really good or really bad then, basically.
It could be really bad on my bank balance. A subscription is one thing, but at least you know it's paid for the month and you're done.
Yeah, it's all very upfront.
Yeah, but microtransactions, I really hate them. But then I played a lot of Lord of the Rings Online without spending any real money, so since it went free to play.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. And generally saying play Age of Empires 3 with him sometime, which I've been saying I'm going to do for so long. Sorry?
Cool.
I don't know, I thought it sounds like something from SpongeBob. I think they had the Goofy Goobers. I watched SpongeBob, I admit it. It's cool, I have a 3-year-old daughter on that. But then we all love cartoons anyway, I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Lies, blatant lies.
But I think that just about rounds up our wishes for MMOs. Look out on the website for another question of the week coming up probably next Monday before next week's show, and get your answers in, because it's great to see what you guys think as well as us having our say. So now we're going to try and come to a agreement on what is the pick of this week's incoming titles for which I should have our ultra cool incoming sound effect, which I have lost. Do you remember me saying before we started that I was going to need something halfway through and that I wouldn't be able to find it? Let's hope Windows search comes up trumps, which it actually doesn't. It's just searching. I can't let it slip because it's the best sound effect we have on the whole show, but it appears to be totally gone, so I think I'm going to have to. But incoming this week, there's 4 games we've got noted down here. There may be 1 or 2 others that we've missed out. The first being...
It's Frozen Synapse. Good night, everyone. you can just say that. I think we can all agree on that one, right?
I know.
No, I think Tina's got something else in mind. I can see the purple writing again.
Yeah,
it's like, listen to me. We have Dirt 3 comes out today in the US. I believe it comes out Friday here in the UK. King Arthur, the role-playing war game collection. King Arthur role-playing war game has been about for a while. We do have a review which is posted up by Kronbeck, one of our other previous writers that we had. Go and check that one out. But they're releasing a collection which has all the new expansions and all the extra stuff all included in there. Frozen Synapse comes out on the 26th of May, which is Thursday. We spoke about that earlier in this show, so I'm sure if you're listening to this, whether live or recorded, you may have already heard. If not, then you have to wait for the recorded version to go up if you're listening live. And finally, Dungeons and Dragons Daggerdale, 25th of May, US only.
US only? When's that?
Yeah, can you reveal any more about the US only part? Is it?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's looking like me, yes, this week. The UK has no date in sight yet.
We've gone a bit robotic again there.
Yeah. Everything went kind of wonky.
See if you can fix it.
How's that?
Still the same, unfortunately.
Oh no, hang on. I'm going to need to exit out there again. How's that?
Yeah, you got it.
There we go.
Right.
Yeah, it's only going to come out in the US for now. I was talking to some of my housemates about that, and we were reckoning that they're probably going to do an all over Europe release, which is why it's been held back so much, because, you know, there's not really any sort of wild variance between US policies and UK policies in terms of game releases, so there's no real reason apart from that to hold them back. But if they were doing like a all over Europe release, then you need to, you know, think about things like, you know, German policies, whatever, you know.
Sure.
So that's probably the issue, I'm not sure, but there's no release date for us in sight, and I am none too happy as a big D&D fan.
Yeah, well,
I hope this game does better than the previous ones.
You know, it looks very, very promising. Whether it will or not, I don't know, because I'm not going to get to play it because it's not coming out here yet. But, you know, I'm hoping it will. I'm hoping that it's going to be fantastic. It's kind of Diablo-esque, hack and slashy, role-play, action-adventure. They try to keep the pace up from what I hear, which is nice because D&D games tend to get bogged down in very wordy story that doesn't really appeal to everyone. Yeah, but it's sounding like it's going to be good.
Yeah, there is definitely something going on there with the UK thing. I'm not sure what it is, but I mentioned it on a podcast before. We sent a bunch of questions over months ago now for a interview to try and find out more about the game. There wasn't much info out at the time, and I keep bugging the PR guy to try and get the answers, and he's like, yeah, then they're just not ready to answer them yet. So I don't know why it's releasing in the US all of a sudden this week.
It's available at GameStop now, so I don't know why they're not answering you.
Yeah, very strange. I don't know. Maybe they just hate me.
Wizards are closed too now. They don't like to talk for some reason.
Yeah, but
you know, it's kind of curious
because
their official site is still kind of, you know, talking from a coming soon kind of angle, but you go and check GameStop's US website and it's for sale for $14.99. So I mean, they just don't seem very good at keeping up with those kind of things.
Very good price.
Yeah, absolute steal. That's what I'm thinking, you know. It's worth taking the wee restaurant.
Oh, totally, by the sounds of it. It looks very good from what I've seen of it, like you were saying.
Yeah.
I'm very keen. I was keen to know more, which is why I asked the questions in the first place, but seems that PR guys don't love me anymore, so...
Aww.
But M. Gateman in the chat room there, which is the great thing about having a chat room, he points out that over on Steam, the King Arthur Role-Playing Wargame collection is actually 50% off at the moment, which is a bargain at £12.49. So you might want to check that out. But are we going to come to an agreement? Because I am going to take Frozen sign-ups.
Oh no, I'm going to start my search for Dungeons and Dragons in the hope that it's going to be good, because I'm a forever optimist.
But if you want to play it, you're going to have to fly over to America.
Oh, that could be arranged.
Scott, your pick?
Oh, this is odd, because I'm right in between you guys. Frozen Sin sounds amazing, and it's definitely my ADD style type of play. But I'm with Tina too, that I really want that one of the D&D games to actually be good, because the last few have kind of flopped. That's a hard choice. So hey, I guess if you're in America, go for D&D.
That works.
If you're in the UK, no, I don't know. That is hard, and it depends a lot on what people are going to be into too.
It does indeed. I think all 4 of those games are going to be fairly good buy, to be fair, especially if you're into races. I mean, Dirt 3 is going to be, I can't imagine it's going to be bad at all. The last 2 games have been absolutely great.
And
I know the G4TE community, they've all already got all their copies pre-ordered. They have a weekly race night. They're really into all that. So that makes it a hard choice. It's very like individual based, but I think I'm more excited about Frozen Synapse now.
Okay, we'll try and get away with that one without Tina showing.
Alright, well.
Oh well, so anyway, there's nothing we can hate on this week, so we're just going to have to say...
That's good.
Unless we intentionally missed it out because it sucked. There's normally something we can laugh about, like a garbage truck simulator or something like that we can just have a good giggle about, but there's nothing this week, so hopefully there'll be some horrible games released next week, and hopefully some good ones too. I believe Duke Nukem's coming soon, which is another one I'm very sceptical about. Who knows what will happen with that.
Yeah, it probably won't be any good, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know, man, especially with Gearbox behind it.
We shall see.
We shall. That's the only thing we can do. But that's what was incoming, and I've found the little sound clip now, so I'm going to play it just because I can. There we go.
God love the worm so much.
Certainly. But that brings us to the end. I'll leave you with some shout outs from you guys. So shout out where people can find you, whether it be Twitter, whether it be a website, whether it be a guild in Tina's case, perhaps. Scott, where can people find you, man?
Well, Twitter would be the big one.
It would.
Always on Twitter. On my second monitor, constantly. I can't keep glancing at it when I'm in games and stuff. I'm completely addicted now. So that's @Rabid_Scotsman.
Check him out.
1B1T. And then Steam, same deal. I'm always on there too. That should be @Rabid_Scotsman also, I think. Hopefully doing some more streaming over at Justin TV on my channel, which is also @Rabid_Scotsman. Shocker. And occasionally, or every episode, pretty much over on thegamesman.com's RPG podcast.
Don't forget that one. Thegamesman.com. Head over there.
Yes, sir. Go over there and check out news and all that good stuff.
Yep, some awesome gaming podcast stuff going on there, and
very technical, from what I hear.
Yeah, very technical. I love the stuff you do with the RPG stuff over there, man. It's great stuff. It's absolutely awesome. So, Zero Wayne, stop saying .com because it's not .com. You do it every time. And Tina, your turn. Where can people find you?
I am most easily found in the World of Azeroth or Facebook. That's pretty much my two monitors pick up. In terms of World of Warcraft, if that's your bag, you can catch us at our guild website, http://guildlaunch.com. We are EU Outlands, which is an awesome wee server, so check us out there. Facebook is just /CrispyTinas. You can also get that link off my Ironhammers, writer, little about you piece.
Can indeed, which is another place they can find you.
Yeah, absolutely, and please go check me out on Ironhammers. I'm new, but I'm writing lots, so go and read it.
Doing a very great job. Thank you eternally for what you've done so far, and I hope there's plenty more to come.
Yo.
I assume you guys are Horde, right? Because.
Oh, yeah.
Alright.
Could you be anything else and be over the age of 12?
It took about 3 days of me playing World of Warcraft for Scott to convert me to Horde.
Yep.
And it took about another 3 days for me to stop playing.
Oh no.
Maybe some of you guys can drag me back in there, I don't know.
Yeah.
Only to pay for it.
If anyone wants to find me, of course, find me at ironhammers.org. Google Ironhammers, you'll find me, and some weird heavy metal band called Ironhammers as well. But heavy metal's cool with me. Twitter.com/ironhammer5 because somebody stole my S. Facebook.com/ironhammer5 because somebody also stole my S over there, which I believe I may have even stolen myself and forgotten the password. So there's no blame there, but Ironhammers on Twitter is taken by some guy that has sent one tweet about 2 years ago which says, "I think I need a holiday," and he's never used Twitter since then.
Can't you just contact Twitter and be like, "Look, it's been 2 years."
Yeah, I've done so about 5 times now, man, to absolutely no avail. Check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/ironhammerstv. You can find some cool PC gamer videos over there. Many more to come soon, whenever we can find something cool to put up. We normally do trailers and strange stuff from the PC gaming world, and some videos of me opening up boxes and that kind of not so cool stuff. Unless you're the person opening the box, which is always fun. And of course, right here on justin.tv/ironhammers, and if you're listening to us live now, please do click the little follow button below the video. Not only does it help us know how many fans we've got here, it also keeps you alerted as to when we're going live. So, win-win situation. On that note, I will thank Tina and Scott for joining me today. It was very great of you guys to give up your time and come over and chat about video games, although it's always fun to do so.
Yeah, no bother, it was good fun.
And we'll be back next Tuesday at 11 PM here in the UK once again to talk about whatever's happened over the next week. So let's hope for some good stuff to occur. And maybe I'll tell you a little bit more about my experience with Fable 3 as well.
Is it safe to say same hammer time, same hammer channel?
Same hammer time, same hammer channel, but though hammer time is actually a bit like Valve time, wherein it's actually always a little bit later than what we say. Yeah, but be around for 11 PM because at least if we haven't started the show, we'll be here hanging around, maybe listening to some cool music and just having a chat with you guys in the chat room. So finally, to thank everyone listening who's in the live chat, quite a few people turning up tonight. Great stuff, a few people coming and going here and there. Good to have you here. And thanks again to the many more people that will be listening to the recorded version, which I will get edited and posted up. Hopefully sometime tomorrow, if not the day after. Depends whether I really feel like looking at all those sound waves on the graph for too long tonight or not. Who knows? I'll leave it at that. Thank you all for coming. Thank you guys for joining me. We're back next Tuesday, maybe with some of the same guests again, if they're around. Maybe with some new people. We'll see what happens. We'll leave it at that. It is game over. Take it away, Duke.
Game over.
Guys, I killed my own microphone.
I'm yelling at it. I'm like, what?
I was sitting here talking and I'm thinking, I think I've muted them or something. I can't hear them talking to me. And then I looked and I was like, no, they can't hear me. But, yeah, this stream should have enough time to have caught up, so I won't cut them off right at the end. So I will kill that. Thanks again everybody for coming and joining us. We'll see you soon.